500 years ago, he washed ashore the sole survivor of a shipwreck. And upon the skull of the man who killed his dad, he said, "I'm mad, I must eradicate piracy, injustice and cruelty, and all my sons will follow me, so evildoers will believe that this man cannot die."
The Phantom,
The ghost who walks,
the Phantom,
enemies beware, the Phantom's always there, but you won't find the Phantom. He finds you.
G'day everybody, and for those who are coming late, you're listening to Expand the Phantom podcast. My name is Jermaine, and today I am joined by Dan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, really good, Jermaine. Footy's back. We're recording this on the weekend that Aussie Rules football in Australia has started again, and it's a great sign that things are getting back to normal. So, yeah, it's been a real spirit lifter this weekend.
Yeah, and I hope we've done a few extra podcasts the last couple of months, so hopefully people have enjoyed that as well. So, talking about podcasts, if this is the first time you've ever listened to one of our podcasts, you can subscribe with us on iTunes, Spotify, or any of the other Android podcast apps. And then, of course, you can communicate with us on social media like Facebook, which is chroniclechamber.com, Twitter, which is @chronicletweets, Instagram, which is @chroniclechamber, and YouTube, which is Chronicle Chamber. So today, I'm looking forward to today. We're interviewing someone who would be probably one of the most iconic Australian cover artists, especially from the modern days, and probably up there when you're talking about cover artists like Tommy Hughes and stuff from a Phantom perspective as well. So we're in royalty tonight, Dan. Are you looking forward to it, mate?
I said to you when we first started planning this, I cannot believe that it has taken us 150-something episodes to talk to this man because he's a living legend on Australian shores, and I guess maybe we've taken him for granted because we see him in Sydney when we go to Supernova and Leaf Hawke Memorial, Bengala Explorers Cup dinner. He's also a man of the people, and we just love him, and can't believe it's taken us this long to get him on the podcast.
So without Antonio, how are you?
Well, I'm overwhelmed. That's how I am. I mean, I am not called a legend every day. But thank you for everything. And I'm glad that Paul, whoever he is, had good memories of me as well, because I'm always trying to be a person who assists others if I could. And respond to whatever initiatives anyone have in helping others. So maybe Paul and I share some sort of assistance, mutual assistance, or perhaps he assisted me because I came to that place where we met when I was old already. Yes, and it wasn't a common thing. Most of those people are young, but we won't talk about that now.
Okay, so so welcome. So we did a little bit of research. You've been the Frew cover artist since 1993, and then you've done over 200 Phantom covers. Did you realize that you've done that many?
No, not really. I don't know exactly how many I have done because with Jim, the pace was furious. It was one after the other. But then when things started to change, I started doing fewer and fewer. And now I think that I am one of those who does 2 or 3 covers per year.
Yeah.
So I was joking with Dudley the other day, saying that I was the one who actually dug my own grave because I wrote a letter to Jim in 2013, before he died, of course, and saying that we needed to have a variety of styles for the fans. And when he passed away and Dudley came into the picture, that was the first thing he did. And I think he got so many that now he hasn't got time for me.
Oh, well, we still love you. We still appreciate your work.
I have enjoyed everything that I have done.
We'll go through it a little bit later, but we've actually got in contact with some of our Patreons during the week and asked for some of their favourite covers as well. So we'll go through some of those as well. But as every good story, did you want to start at the beginning and tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you came from? Did you read The Phantom as a child? And just kind of we'll start at the beginning and we'll kind of work our way forward.
Yes, I am from Uruguay in South America, and I read The Phantom when I was a kid, so to speak. I only remember. I don't remember much about the guys who were actually drawing it. Probably more. What's his name?
Wilson McCoy?
McCoy, not McCoy, the other one.
Roy Moore.
Yes.
Roy Moore, sorry.
Yes, maybe I remember him. And I wasn't very keen on his style. It was, I don't know, the 40s when he did it, right? Or maybe the 50s. But for the guy that I was in those days, I didn't connect with the Phantom. But I always liked comics, and when I came in my life to a crossroads in regard to what I am going to do with my life now, was when I became a chief petty officer in the Navy, and I had a great life. I have a lot of benefits and a lot of freebies, so to speak. And my sister went to live in Italy and left me in a house in the center of the city that it was magnificent. But that was a very bad thing, actually, because I said, I am going to be in love with this lifestyle, and in a few years' time, I will retire because I have to, and I will be going into an ever-diminishing pension, and I won't have a house, because if she decided to sell it, that's it. And say, I have to leave the country. And I had lived in America for 1 year once, and I didn't like it. And I said, no, I tried to make any contact with someone in Australia, and I contacted a newspaper in Spanish, the Español in Australia, and I sent an atlas that we did with Eduardo, and they published it for 1 year. And after that year, they sent me a work contract. And then I came without English, without money, without a house, and without a job. It was a very challenging time.
Did you have a partner? Had you met your wife by that stage, or did you meet her?
No. I married when I was 22. And we have a son, just one son. And she was the one that was telling me that we had to migrate, because this life so easy is actually a trap, the one that we had there. And it was great. The only thing is, as soon as I came here, I came in 81. I think we had a recession in 82 or 83. So the Español, the newspaper, had problems, and I was out. But I immediately started working, doing educational publication for schools, illustrating. Yeah. So I did that for quite a while. And in the meantime, I was an avid reader of English to be able to one day get accreditation as an interpreter. Okay, and I did. Yes, and then was my period in immigration when I applied for a position, and they took me immediately, and it was 90-something.
Just before we get to your time in immigration, Antonio, can you talk to us a little bit about being in the Navy? Because I feel like it's probably had a massive influence on you.
Yes, it had, because I was so young. And the problem is, I never wanted to be anything but an artist, but I need to live, and I was very poor. My family was 7 kids, brothers and sisters, and my father had committed suicide when I was 2. So we were by ourselves in a very precarious condition. And in the Navy, I was always thinking that I had to get a job in a newspaper in Uruguay. But unfortunately, despite the fact that we have a very small Navy, we were always on the move, going to places and even rescuing people in winter, in floods and blah, blah, blah. And I visit Rio 17 times.
Oh, wow.
Because we used to have an exercise between the Navy of America, Brazil, Argentina, and Uruguay every year. And that included going to Argentina, Buenos Aires, not Puerto Belgrano, and then to Rio. And it was great. It was very exciting. But to me, it wasn't enough, because if I was not drawing, I wasn't happy. And the possibility of publishing anything or doing anything with anyone was almost impossible until someone came to my ship, a journalist, to write about life on the sea, blah, 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 and met me. And 1 week later, I was freelancing for that same newspaper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You were saying just before we press record, you was talking about the relationship that it gave you with the ocean.
Oh, yes. I love the ocean. I still do. And I used to swim like a fish, a black one. And I love it. That part of the work was fun, because I was so young. And when it started not becoming so fun, I was moved to the academy, where I used to teach cadets about everything, particularly about security and blah, blah, blah. And I stayed there for 10 years. So all in all, I stayed in the Navy for 23 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's certainly long enough to feel like you've had a long career there.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. But I was very fortunate, because I went through the ranks very quickly. But once again, I didn't want to be anything. I just did it for the money and for the uniform. Maybe you can see me on that picture on the wall.
is that?
Is that you?
There is a picture in which I am with other colleagues near the Phantom. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see some white suits.
Yes,
uniforms.
That is the one. By the
You've
way,
got all of our YouTube viewers trying to zoom in on their screens now, Antonio, as they look at that wall of imagery behind you.
No, but I was going to say that Phantom is signed by Lee Falk.
Oh, wow.
Yes, when Jim went there to oversee the movie with him, or to visit the set, he took that drawing at insistence of Amanda, because I didn't think we were going to take to Queensland that big thing. And he did, and he signed it. And
oh, wow.
And Jim signed it as well. And now both are gone.
Yeah, it must be very special.
Oh yeah, it's very precious to me. Very precious.
Yeah. So when you were working on in the newspaper, is that when you met Eduardo Barreto?
No. Yes, but Eduardo came much later. I already had take like 10 years in the newspaper because Eduardo was much younger than me. He died when he was 57. He used to call me his master, blah, 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 in the sense that I tried to guide him and blah, blah, blah. Even when he did his first Phantom for Australia, he sent me before publication, and I said to him, try not to show the ears of the Phantom. Don't do that. And also try not to seat him like Conan, because he was used to those muscular guys, blah, blah, blah. The Phantom is a little bit more
athletic.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I guess just for those who came in late, Eduardo Barreto was a Sunday artist for about a year in the early 2000s.
Yes.
So
for the Phantom?
For the Phantom, yes, sorry.
1 year. Oh, I thought it was less than that.
Yeah.
Jermaine will know to the day, I think.
Quickly Google Phantom Wiki. Did you just want to tell us a little bit about Eduardo, and then we can
Thank you for asking. Eduardo was extraordinary in every sense. First of all, he was a very talented man, but he didn't have this flaw that some talented men have, that they are a little bit aloof or whatever. Eduardo was incredible. And he had the ability of drawing at a certain time in his life without actually penciling underneath. He did a Phantom for me, in which not a Phantom, a Rocco. Remember the guy from the island that I did? The character that I had in Uruguay in the newspaper was called Rocco, the man from the island.
Oh, yes.
Yes, and Eduardo did it in his own fantastic style, because he did it with the shirt open and a knife here, blah, blah, blah. And he had a tremendous capacity for work. He was glued to that chair for weeks in a row. Incredible. And he was very well rewarded for his efforts, to the point that he won a Yellow Kit Award in 19-something, and then got the judge, Parker.
Yep.
Yes, that was in 175 newspapers in America.
Wow.
And his death was published in the Washington Post.
Yeah, wow.
Yes, he was very relevant, even being a guy who was living in a remote place in Uruguay. He was very much admired and loved. Even Lee, I have a statement from Lee, the guy who is now a vice president in DC, or one of those comics, saying that Eduardo was an artist. So good he was. He was incredible. Yes. I now, every year when I go to Uruguay, I visit his wife and his mother. And I gave her mother and one to his wife, one of those.
So I was about to ask you about that book, Antonio, because obviously we can hear the passion in your voice as you remember Eduardo. You must have very much admired him to put together that book. I'm lucky enough to have a black and white copy. I was hoping to get it signed by yourself at Supernova this year. Might have to save it for next year. But the book El Art, you'll have better pronunciation than me, of course. But basically, The Art of Eduardo Barreto by yourself and Amanda, your wife. It's a comprehensive book that covers so much of Eduardo's career, all of it, including many Phantom pieces. That's very much a labour of love from you, I imagine, to have put that together.
Yes, and I had a guy who helped me to put it together, because if we come back a little bit to what Germain was saying in the beginning, I met someone here in Australia that was doing the lettering for the Phantom. And he was helping a religious group to produce a magazine, and the magazine needed an artist, and they asked me if I could help. And because I was working for immigration as a freelance as well, I did. And then he told me, I have the impression that Jim is looking for an artist because the guy that was doing the Phantom, Chato?
Keith Chatto, yes.
Keith Chatto, yeah.
Chato has died, and you can take your portfolio to him. And I did. And he saw it, and he said, when you want to start? Yes.
So I just want to go back to Eduardo for 2 seconds.
Of course.
So he did Judge Parker for King Features from 2006 to 2010. He did the Phantom from this, where was it? Sorry, July 31st and to December 2011. So it's just under 6 months.
Yeah, right.
Worked on 2 stories, which is The Nomad and The Shadows of Rune.
That I have, of course. Yes, yeah. I collected them here. That's what I was saying. That a year, I think it was too long.
Yeah.
Yes. No, you're right. 6 months. It's such a short time frame, and I think one of the things that stood out for me during those 2 stories, that 6-month run that Eduardo had on the Phantom Sunday strip, was the way he mixed up the panel shapes. Yeah. He didn't just use the 9 panels as a strip of street.
Yes.
He was very courageous and innovative in the way that he used those.
Yeah.
But what about the way he used to mix the guys walking in the jungle with the scenery itself, and the guys just there talking because Walker was pursuing the Phantom, remember?
Yeah.
Yes, incredible. Even some animals, like Barry used to do, in the foreground, and the guys walking there. He was incredible.
Yeah,
incredible.
Now, one of my biggest ever Phantom regrets was I actually got in contact with Eduardo, and I was talking to him about buying a Sunday, an original Sunday from him, and he gave me a price and all that, and then I said, "Oh, just give me a month or so to, get the funds together," and then he'd sadly passed away, and I missed out on getting one of the original Sundays. To this day, I'm still kicking myself for waiting too long to pick up one of his Sundays. Because you're right, Dan. The way he broke those panels, like the bird eye views of some of the panels and the shots, it was just amazing.
The CNN interviewed him once in his house in a resort there in Uruguay, and he was talking to the guy and drawing Batman, and it was incredible. It was fantastic. But I think that Eduardo could draw in his dreams, because he used to do something that sometimes happens to me, that I am in my bed and suddenly I remember something and I woke up, even if it is 3 o'clock in the morning, and touch here or write, erase that part or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. It's something that you have in you that is bigger than you.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you telling us a little bit about Eduardo and showing us a bit of the book and stuff like that. I really do appreciate it.
Eduardo was incredible, a fantastic person. And we agree, or we had the same ideas about almost anything, including death, because he was cremated. And it's something that I'm going to do with myself one day. Not me.
just to while we're on that path, it was a question I was asking myself earlier. You immigrated to Australia much later than I probably had in my head much later in life, 23 years in the Navy. Do you consider yourself an Australian or a Uruguayan? And
both.
when you have your ashes cremated, where will they be spread? Which country will you have them in?
I don't think we've ever asked that question on this podcast. In 170 odd episodes, I do not think we've ever had that question asked.
All right. Okay. Let's forget that question then.
Okay.
But no. I consider myself as much as an Australian because I am a lonely man, a loner. Those people who like to read and listen to music and draw and paint. I never had many friends or socialize or anything. I am a hermit. Is that the word?
Yeah.
Well, you must have coped pretty well with the last 3 months then, when we've all been asked to stay inside and not talk to people.
Well, exactly. Yes, no problem with me, because that is the life that I have always had. To be here in this particular place, I have been here for almost 40 years, always drawing and also studying other people's art, Eduardo's in particular. But you see, what you are cannot be translating into anyone else's, because as my friend Cesar Spadari used to say, never compare yourself with anyone, because we are all so different. That is the only thing that could be applied. Is he better than you? Well, he's different, right? But if you try to emulate someone, you won't be following your own destiny, so to speak.
Yep. Yeah, no, definitely. So it was 1993 you started working with Frew.
Yes.
So like we said at the intro, you've done over 200 Frew covers. You also did you've done some continuity story with The Man from the Islands and Atla. And then you also did The Wisdom of the Phantom, which is a short story for what was it? Was it for immigration? Or
The Department of what is it?
was it electoral rolls or something? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember it.
But it was for a government agency.
Was that while you were working at the Department of Immigration and in the government employ anyway? Was that just part of your salary, or did you manage to get some extra coin for that?
The question is no. The answer is no. No. I did, yes, those for several years. Rocco, I think I did it for 7 in Uruguay on the newspaper until I left. But here I never done any episodes or anything, only covers. But allow me to correct you. Please don't get it wrong, Germaine. I really don't think that I have already done 200 covers. I think that I done 170 probably, but I don't think I have done 200.
Okay.
But if you discover that, yes, I did.
I think it's safe to say you're the most prolific Phantom artist over the last Frew Phantom cover artist over the last 40 years. I don't think that's too much of a stretch.
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yes. The only problem is that everything that you said in that sentence equates to old.
You're only as old as you feel at heart, Antonio. I think that if that's the criteria, you've probably got both of us covered.
Let me 1 second. Oh. It's okay. It's okay. Yes. Yes. Ask me.
So, did you ever have a desire to do like strip work or continuity work?
No. The answer is no, because it's a very sort of laborious thing to do, and you need to be really, really into that. And it became a time after I done what I have done, and Jim died, that even if they asked me, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's too, and it's only my wife and myself here, so I need my time to leave. No? I can't be always drawing.
Yeah. So I just went on to Fandom Wiki, and you're right. It's about 175. So I was a little bit over exaggerating in that one. So thank you for that correction.
No, it is only because I don't want to say something that is not true. If it is, I really don't know. That is the point. I really don't know.
Do you have a favorite cover?
We certainly hope you get to 200 anyway.
Yes.
Yes, even Jim thought that I will get to 200 in his lifetime. He didn't respect his part of the bargain. And he left. Yeah. Yes, favorite covers. I have some that I like a lot, including the one that is called, let me see, this one. This one.
Yes. Yep.
And that's for you, everyone on YouTube watching this on YouTube is just nodded their head.
But you know what? I have done so many commissions for fans that have been, most of them, particularly lately, as good or better than my best covers.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem is only the person who asked me for the commission saw it, because I'm not very good with putting things on the internet or in Facebook. But yes, I have done many commissions that perhaps have come to compensate for the fact that Frew is asking me for fewer covers now.
So just to backtrack, and can you tell us which issue number was the cover that you just held up?
1735.
1735, and that will also be familiar to, I guess, the completists and the Frew people who hammer the Frew website as the poster that they did up as well. And we can see that on the wall behind you there, Antonio, that poster. For what it's worth, that also hangs above my middle daughter's bed. I brought home a bunch of Frew fan posters, and that was the one that she chose that she wanted to have in her room. So I see that every night when I say goodnight to her.
Tell her that I have given you a virtual embrace.
I will.
Because it's fantastic. You see, it's a great satisfaction to see that someone write to you or tell you, as you are saying now, that what I have done for them is exactly what they had in mind. Like a guy who lives in a place here that I never heard of, with plenty ancient trees, and he wanted the phantom running through the bush with the dog, the wolf, and I looked for the trees in the internet and got some and did the job, and he was very, very happy, as others have been with other ideas that they had.
Yeah.
Yes. Somehow I was able to visualize his own drawing.
Yeah. One thing that I think what makes you such as a favorite for a lot of fans is that you are very approachable, whether it's at Supernova or you go out of your way to make time for fans as well, which I think is very special. And it's for a fanboy, it's great to see someone as yourself who we've gone out and brought the covers and admired your work for many years and stuff like that. So you know, from myself, I really appreciate it, and I'm sure that there are others as well who really appreciate that personal touch that you give everyone as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, as a podcast, we very much say we're by the fans for the fans, and we're both fans, and we've both had that same experience. And I'm sure that we speak on behalf of all the fans when we say thank you for that that willingness to engage with us when we approach you at the Supernova or the Con or whatever it is. You're always very approachable.
It's good that I am not a woman. Could I say that, Shai, in this kind of...
Of course.
So...
No, but I like when people come to me and ask me about something or tell me what they felt when they received the commission. And once, and I didn't have a camera in those days, a guy came to me and he had tattooed one of my drawings, a cover, yes, one of the covers in one of his legs.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you see how someone could like something so much that he make it eternal in his leg. Yeah, it was great. Great compliment.
So I just wanted to is there an echo? I can hear myself. Okay, so we, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, we asked some of our listeners and some of the Patreons that we've got that help support us and stuff like that, some of what their favourite covers are. So I'm going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to try and share my screen. So let's see how we go with this. Can you see my screen?
Oh, yes. Now I am seeing the 2014 annual special.
Yep. So we asked a bunch of people. I'll go over them in a second. We'll just go through. These are the covers that all the fans, including ourselves, Dan, myself, and Stephen, that we've chosen. And so this was one of them here. The 2014 annual special, which is like a homage to the
movie
1996 Billy Zane poster. This, from memory, I voted this as the best cover for 2014. I really, really enjoyed that one.
I love this cover.
Yeah. This was another one that was picked. I think this one was by Stephen, issue 1157, which is the Phantom on the Skull Cave with Devil to the side.
And the Sing emblem prominence too. It tells a story having that shadow there.
Yeah. This one, 1287, The Dark Secret, which is a very fascinating story, that one from memory. Struggle for Freedom, which is 1086.
This was one of my favourites for sure.
So why is this one of your favourites, Dan?
I just love the sequential note. And it was interesting before, Antonio, when you said that you weren't interested in doing stories and telling a sequence of panels, I suppose. And I completely understand the reasons why you said it, but I particularly love the covers that you've done that do show within a single image that sequence of stories. And so seeing the Phantom march out of the ocean after, clearly defeating a pirate ship behind him, just that sequence of images. I really love that.
Thank you. I was actually the one who suggested to Jim that we should do the progressive advance of the Phantom from the distant up to the forefront. And we actually did it in two covers. This one and another one in which he enters from a door and grabs someone on the forefront of the cover.
It's a wonderful technique to just...
yes, it gives you the idea of the movement in people who are standing.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. This one, 1682, which is the Phantom and Mandrake.
You like that one?
I do, yeah.
It's one of your ones as well, I think.
Well, I have terrible problem with the ship.
I would have thought you would have nailed those.
No. Mine was a destroyer. That is a cruiser.
So if it had been a destroyer in the background, it would have been a bit more accurate, you reckon?
And a couple of torpedoes, maybe.
This one was the 2016 annual special.
Yeah, I like it. I shouldn't say that, should I?
No, you're allowed to say it.
No, I like this one as well because, again, you've with the 2016 annual special, as opposed to the 2014, which was just almost completely black and a very small Phantom, really, and the focus entirely on him. This is an opportunity for the Phantom to pop out of the cover, but also you've got all these other classic characters, including the Mr. Walker. You've got a Sing Pirate there, the Femme Fatale. There's a battle going on. Again, it's one of those covers that tells a number of stories in the single.
Indeed, yes. Actually, I love Walker with the mask underneath his chapeau.
Yeah, I love that too.
This is probably my other favorite one, which is 1172, which is.
Jim loved that one.
Yeah.
He was very happy. He actually said, "We beat them, Antonio." Because the original one in Sweden was with the Phantom looking a little bit up or something, and with the uniform being different. And I said, no, let's do it really. That one.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, this is the original one here.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see, I'm not lying.
No, I like how you've taken a similar, the same layout.
Yeah, exactly, but try to make it ours. You see? Yes, and I was very happy.
I'll be biased enough to say that I prefer yours. I think it is a great montage and or cut together, and it would challenge for cover of the year if it was to come out in 2020. I'm sure.
Wow.
So Antonio, so I was just in talking about this cover here, the Viking Castle Mystery, which is 1172 for those on the podcast. We were just talking about how it is a similar pose to the Phantom Men issue. When you were doing covers for Jim Shepard and all that, were you instructed to do similar covers as what Phantom Men did, or was it entirely up to you, or did you have like did you choose?
Well, sometimes it was after me when I sort of say it, because if not, it was something like this. Do this.
Yeah.
Do this.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was it, because he had already selected that panel or whatever it was the really important part of the story, and he wanted that.
Yeah.
And the closer that I did it to the story, the better for him. I always change it a little bit because I don't like copying. There is no magic in copying.
So did you find that frustrating at all, that it was always...
Yeah, well, it was perhaps the only disagreements that we have were the ones regarding the importance of the cover. I used to say to him, Jim, the cover, and I'm not sort of beating myself, but the cover is what sells the magazine, in the sense that it catches the eye of the reader or the person who never read the Phantom, and then he will buy the story. So it has to be attractive. It has to be, exciting.
Yeah.
Jim wasn't quite much interested.
And is there a difference between that approach and the new Frew Crew?
I put that kind of feeling to Dudley the night we met, because he actually had the letter in which I suggested to Jim that we needed a variety of artists, so the fans will have a variety of styles. And he agreed completely. No. And Dudley never told me what to do. Never.
Oh, okay, wow.
So do they send you the story for you to look through first, or just a general idea of what it's
No. They send me the story, the entire story, and I print it here, and I select the panel that I consider to have more potential to be really exciting, like the car coming through a precipice or something. And they always are happy with that.
Awesome.
So you probably enjoy the new approach more, I suspect.
No more, because Jim was someone that was extremely helpful in many ways. One of those ways was seeing that perhaps that wasn't exactly what we meant to do, and yet he said that it was good, it was fine. He never will say, oh, gee, why didn't you did it better? Because the problem with Jim was the deadlines. He had very tight deadlines. And I had another job, remember? I was in immigration.
Yeah.
Forgive me, Jim, because I know this isn't on the run sheet, but while we're here, can you tell us a little bit about Jim Shepherd, Antonio, as someone who worked with him closely for 25, 30 odd years more, and knew him from a phantom sense as well as anybody. What can you fill us in for those who never met Jim? What can you tell us about him?
Jim was an incredibly talented and knowledgeable man, and also a great businessman, in the sense that he knew, I think, what the public wanted, and he always tried or strived to provide his readers with new stories and blah, blah, blah. And he used to put some repetitions as well, because that's story. But he was a great man. I was privileged to do a portrait of him reading a phantom comic that, by the way, had my own drawing in the cover, because that was the picture that he gave to a newspaper to publish, and it was so natural that I used that one for when he died. I sent it to here with the condolences of all the phantom artists here and overseas, and Judith took it.
Yeah, I remember that piece. It was an amazing piece. I'm going to see if I can try and find it. I remember that piece. I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it up somewhere.
Well, maybe Jim might be able to find it in the next 60 seconds or so, Antonio. What was the practicalities of the working relationship with Jim? Because obviously we're talking.
Well,
did you go into the Frew offices all the time?
Yes, I went there every time. He sent me the cover, and the references, but I was always the one taking the final product to the office, until I decided that it was a terrible waste of time, because to go to the city to me is to waste the entire morning. And I decided to send them by mail. And that was okay with him. But the good thing was we have moments for chatting about art and artists and blah, blah, blah. When I went there, it was good. It was good. The only difference, or a big difference between Dudley and Jim, is that with Jim, I have to surrender the original for Frew, and now I keep the original.
Yeah.
And they publish the cover and send me the original back so I can sell it.
Yeah.
I was going to ask that actually, because I might share my screen now, and this is the Frew website, the Treasure Room page, and as we scroll past, actually there's a few of your covers there, as we scroll past to Billy Zane signed and some of the older double-digit Frews, but here see some of your original covers that I guess these are the ones that we're talking about that you sent through to Frew, and they're available, I guess, off the website now for about $400 a pop, and we're talking covers that were in the 1300s, the 1100s. How do you feel about seeing them available for sale on Frew's website now?
Well, I better don't say how I feel. But you see, I don't know if it is me, because I have never been a person motivated or driven for profit. I am a terrible seller of my work, because I enjoy it so much that I even cry sometimes when I have to sell it, because I only keep here and in folders that I have photocopies. Everything that I have is photocopy, and some are very bad because they are bad. But yes, I suppose they are in that way double dipping.
And fair, I can understand that from the business perspective, but it must be so much more satisfying for yourself now to be able to send them just a high quality scan and have the original to sell for yourself, whilst at the same time, as you've said, you've got a lot more freedom, and some of the work that you're doing now you would regard as some of your higher quality work. So I guess there's a progression there.
Oh, absolutely. And the thing is, you see, if you try to be good in one area, some people ask you if you will be able to do a job that it doesn't actually entail the phantom. I got now an A3 black and white portraits of some people in Uruguay. It is a commission that I was asked to do. That doesn't include the phantom, you see, and Jean, Germain French, asked me for that Spitfire picture that I did for him with his father, and others have asked me for other things, including a picture of the phantom in those fires here in New South Wales. Remember, for the book.
Yes, absolutely. We remember that. And I'm just going to, we had that to talk about at one point. And this, if people on your YouTube, you can see it. If you're not, it's the image we used on the back cover of the Bushfire book. Just spectacular, Antonio. We talked about this before. At one stage, we just didn't know how to use it. It was just so powerful. But once you also sent the email in, and I will try and hold that up close so people on YouTube can perhaps pause and read that. But
I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, the words that you sent through in the email accompanying the picture were just so compelling that we had to use that as the blurb. Thank you so much for both elements that you sent in for us. It really made a massive impact on us, and we hope on everyone who's been able to pick up a copy of the book.
Thank you. No, I said to Germain, I was the one that considered a privilege and an honor to be asked to contribute to a book that had that purpose. And when I wrote the email saying what I felt, I wasn't thinking about being published or anything.
Of course not. No, it was a private correspondence. We had to ask you for permission to
indeed, yes. It was something that I said that I don't like long emails, but sometimes when you need to express yourself fully, you need some amount of words. Yeah. And I am very, very happy and very proud of that I have been part of that one. A great effort and a great success, because Germain was telling me that we did, I don't know, 20,000. No?
25, over $25,000 raised.
Imagine. Incredible, great effort, fantastic. And so many artists in so many countries now have it and participated in something that we suffer terribly.
Yeah, I think when we got the blurb, or when we got the email from you, it was one of those, one of the few things that we very quickly agreed on without any form of discussion needed. It was like, how can we use this? How can we use the message? How can we use the image? And it was just done. And it was like one of the most easiest things to discuss and work on part of the book.
Yeah.
So,
fantastic. Wow. I'm very, very happy.
So I'll just go through some more of the covers, because some of our Patreons did take the time to go through it. I know Stephen, when he was going through the images, through the covers, he spent a good hour on it, and his first list was about 20 covers, and we're like, we can't talk about 20 covers. So then he spent about an hour trying to go through them and all that. So let's just quickly go over them. So this is one that we were talking about. Sorry, my share screen thing keeps getting in the way. The 2013.
Oh, I like that one. Very mysterious, huh?
Yeah, I like how the black.
Exactly. That amount of black in the figure. Yes.
And then
because I never did anything digitally. Those covers painted, I don't know by who, still look good because the way they were done. Very mysterious.
Do you make a particular effort to step it up for the 2013? Oh, sorry, for the annual specials, because 3 of the covers we've talked about.
Would you believe that sometime Jim didn't even tell me that it was the annual or whatever? And I say, well, you have to strive always.
Yeah.
One day he gave me 4 covers in a row, and when I said to him, very surprised with his generosity, why are you doing this? He said, to keep you out of the streets. He was great. Great guy.
Awesome. So sorry, I'll just go back. Just bear with me. So this is the one, the Nat Turner Spirit. This was a fair few people's favourite, one of their favourites.
And that's the poster we were talking about before.
Yes, and this one is in the property of Glenn, who paid whatever money because he wanted me to sell it to him, right?
Yeah.
Are you happier with this steamboat than you were with the cruise ship earlier?
No, the problem with this steamboat was the reflections of the fire inside in the water. I wasn't very happy with that. But the rest of that, to me anyway, was so nice that I said, well, it's okay. The reflection is okay. Forget it.
We were talking before the podcast. I like the blues. When you use your blues, I like the way that you blues. And I guess it's very obvious. You would have seen a lot of blue in your 20-odd years of being in the Navy. But yeah, for me...
You mean in the water? Because I have felt the blues in the Navy, yes.
Touché.
This was another one that...
Oh, I love that one. The only problem is, and Judith couldn't explain to me, why is that the image has some sort of, like it has been sprayed with sand.
Yeah.
The colors. And also the color of the glasses is too strong. But I never dictated the colors. They always did it what they want.
There's a lot of cross-hatching I've noticed in this one.
Yeah.
So this is, for podcast listeners, this is 1675 Rhodia Dawn.
Yes. And the Phantom is watching how the Rhodian troops invade another state. I don't know which one.
I think that was the Civil War one. So was the cross-hatching all you as well?
Of course, everything is mine. And I even asked her, I don't know if it was on this one or in another one, if she had any reference about tanks. And she said, what?
No. So for the line art ones, did you do the color as well?
No. I just did the black and white. Okay. They painted it.
Yeah.
All right. So other than the paintings that you do, and we know that you are an artist who uses line art and drawing, and sometimes you use watercolors and art and all the rest of it. So, but for the which ones do you color? Do you only color the painting ones, the line art, the drawing? You don't color?
No. The black and whites are that black and white, and I used to put another layer with tracing paper and indicate more or less the colors that I wanted, but it was never followed really. They put whatever they like, and I received some of them and.
So this is another one of your acrylics paint. This is.
I love it. You know why? Because the transparency on the mirror was done with a pen, a white pen.
Was it?
A white pencil. Sorry, pencil.
Because that's what I've loved. And this was not one that I nominated, but appreciative of whoever did. This is 1781, the first part of Pirates of the Red Dragon.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think that the tremendous skill in this one is that most of the picture is behind glass.
Exactly.
Most of the scene is behind glass, and you've conveyed that amazingly.
And when you read the story, you understand that she was actually visible, and she pressed with her right hand a button, and the screen came down.
Yeah. That's amazing hearing the white pencil. This is another annual.
Another annual?
2018 annual of the Western theme.
Yes, I don't like the coloring. I don't like it. No, I don't know either.
Okay.
And behind the phantom there was a mountain, blah, blah, blah. Pass on.
Okay, we'll move on then.
Yeah.
This is the last one, 1089.
Wow, that was something from Lindell
Yes.
that he asked me to do. And it was quite all right because it was different in the episode, but I think it looks okay.
Yeah.
It's very dynamic.
Yes.
And that's one of your skills, I think, Antonio, is you can take so you create very dynamic scenes like that. You create great sequential scenes like the one that I was talking about earlier. You create great portraits. You've just so diverse in the ways that you approach it. So while you might have 4 covers in a row, like you mentioned before, they might be completely 4 different approaches and 4 different, the diversity, I think, is what has helped your longevity.
You remember a guy who was an illustrator here in New South Wales, whose name was, well, I don't remember now, but he came here to my place and we had dinner, and I went to his place with Amanda. But I'm telling you this just to tell you that once I told him that I felt a little bit awkward when people say that they like what I do, and I feel great. It's fantastic, but I don't know what to say. And he said, "Do as I do." And I said, "What is that you do?" I said, "More." No problem.
So I just want to say a huge shout to some of our Patreons. So if you want to know more about Patreon, you can go to our website, which is chroniclechamber.com. So some of the Patreons who we talked to during the week are Paul Maloney, Steve Siebert, John Cookson, Duncan Munro, and Swaroop, and Callum and Sean Bassett as well. So a huge shout out to some of our Patreons as well, and for letting us know some of their favourite covers. I hope you enjoyed kind of going through those with us.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, being able to nominate the cover that you'd love the artist to talk about. So I do hope the Patrons enjoyed that, and a great incentive of yours, Germ, to put that out to them. John Cookson, you mentioned there. Is there a greater Antonio Lemos fan than John Cookson? Antonio, tell us about John.
Oh, I don't know. John is a great guy. He came here once or twice. Not twice, to my place. And he came with Paul Maloney. Yes, a wonderful person, both of them. And yes, he likes my work. But I don't want to talk about me. But I want to come back to something that he said about doing covers that are dynamics. And can I show now this thing that I have here?
Of course, please do.
Right. This I think will give you reason.
Oh, wow.
Because I try to put a lot of action here.
So for people who are not, who are just listening to the audio, Antonio, can you describe what we're looking at?
Yes, this is the moment in which the queen, the pirate queen, died. I mean, she is hurt by the guy who is fighting her, and she takes a knife. And in the episode, she actually kills him with her left hand because she is stopping the bleeding with the other hand. But I didn't want to be that dramatic, and I just wanted the person who look at the image to see that the phantom is trying to stop her to kill the guy, because I don't know. He was saying that you shouldn't kill anyone, even if it is a bad guy. And,
could you show us again as well? Could you?
Yes.
Please hold it up while you're talking for the next little bit.
And you can keep telling us about it if you want, Antonio. So is this for a Frew cover?
No, this is one of the group of images that I was doing to sell by the end of the year. And because Rene bought everything, I will start to build up again. And this idea about this woman was much, I like it a lot, and decided to create a scene in which she is there with a wild look, trying to kill the guy. And it took me a number of, I think, two weeks to finish everything, because I had to modify things here and there. And I did this one twice.
Really?
This is the second one, yes. Because I am always thinking, when people see the work, no, but here, blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, everyone is entitled, particularly if they are buying it, to expect the best.
So speaking of which, it sounds like Renee's bought that one. Where's the first one of the two that you produced? And is it available?
No, I thought it. No. Yes, I did. I haven't shown this one to Rene yet. Yeah, and I'm not going to show it to him. I'm going to put.
It'd be good for someone else to have a look at.
Exactly. I'm going to put it on Facebook tomorrow.
Awesome.
Very good.
So everybody can see it. I won't be selling it, but I put so people can see it.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. I really
Wonderful.
enjoyed that. Really enjoyed that series of the Kate Somerset saga from Cesar Spadari and David Bishop.
I think, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Spadari is an incredible
Yes.
artist, and I think we are going to lose him, because I'll try to contact him, and he is not attending anybody. He is in his place, disconnected from the phone. I don't know if he's working.
No, I don't believe he's doing any more work for Egmont. I've heard that he's quite sick as well.
Sick?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I really enjoy his work as well. He's so dynamic. I love, like, you look at his work in Team Phantom Man stories, and it works well in color, but then it also works just as well in a Frew black and white story as well.
And he's not only a great artist, he's a great guy as well. Look at that.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're looking at a photo of yourself with Cesar?
Yes. I went to his place in Buenos Aires, and some years ago, and we took that picture. Can you see that he has a T-shirt with my drawing?
Yeah, I was just going to say that picture of
The Phantom Power.
Yeah, it looks very familiar.
Yes, he said that he thought, when I gave the T-shirt to him, that it was something that I bought with an American design.
Oh.
And I said, no, my dear, it's mine. I always wanted, maybe that is something that you should remember, sort of something that was unattained until now. Always wanted that drawing with the hand like this to be a cover for the Phantom, but never happened.
How did you come to know Cesar Spadari?
Well, through his work, because once Jim asked me who was the artist that I liked or admire most, and I said, look, between us, Cesar Spadari. And you know what he did? He put it in the letters from the publisher, and everyone knew. So the between us, dead in the water.
No.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite, because when he was doing his work, that was in my early stages of being a fan, so it was very impressionable upon me, and I grew up during his work and all that as well.
Yes, and apart from the Phantom, he has done stories of gauchos. You know what is a gaucho?
No.
A sort of a cowboy in South America. Fantastic. Yeah. He's a great artist, very gifted and very talented. And I heard that he has some problem with his eyes. But now that Germain is saying that he's very sick, maybe something else.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We've tried contacting him, for interviews and stuff like that as well, and unfortunately no luck. And we've heard that he's a bit unwell as well. So yeah.
Yeah, and people here who wants to buy originals from him, he told me that he couldn't actually send those originals because of the government regulations, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
He was very unhappy.
Yeah, we were talking with Pete Clowes, and he used to send Cesar, like, what do you call it, Christmas cards and stuff like that, and they wouldn't get through because of the government restrictions.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah. So talking about originals and stuff like that, you showed us your the picture that, or the work that you were doing with the Kate Somerset series. Is that the size that you normally do your covers on?
Yes, A3.
A3.
And I used to do them in illustration board, but actually to put it on the scanner is better this one, you see, because it's a piece of paper. It's much easier to handle.
Okay. So when you do obviously what you just showed us is, if it was a comic cover, it will be the front cover. When you do a double cover, like a back and a wraparound, do you use two A3s?
Yes, two A3.
Yeah.
Two A3. And but they don't pay me for two A3s. They say pay for one and use the other one.
Yeah.
I think it's called child exploitation.
Probably not at your age, Antonio.
No, because I don't go there very often, so they don't know. They think I am 18 or something.
Sorry. So when you do, that's acrylics, is that correct, that you're using acrylics? That's the
yes,
medium?
I love it because acrylics is such a fantastic medium. It is water-based, but it's not like aquarelle, that if you make a mistake and you try to put another color on top, the other one mixed with that and muddle everything. With that one color on top of it, that's it. Is on top of it. You don't see
it's
it.
a little bit more forgivable.
Yes, and I learned painfully that you have, in the case of the sails here, right, that you have to be very diligent to get the impression that is an old fabric that is bending, because here actually there is a battle going on behind him and some fire, but I didn't want to put ships or anything because it was going to become too complicated.
So
But you have to insist with the color and wait until it dries and then apply another layer, blah, blah, blah. But
How long does an A3 page like that take you?
this one, well, the problem, it took me more than 2 weeks. But it's because, as I said in the beginning, in the middle of it, I had a lot of time taken away from it, doing the moving of my son to this new place and other things, and going to the consulate and blah, blah, blah. But usually, yes, 10 days, 10 days.
Wow.
Yes.
So do you prefer?
And depend on the amount of figures that you are drawing.
Yeah. So do you prefer acrylics over inks, over line art?
I prefer acrylics, yes. I like black and white because Cesar works with black and white so beautifully, and I used to do that in Uruguay, that I would love to do more work in black and white. But at the same time, I miss the volume and the excitement that colors give, right? If it is applied properly.
Yeah. So a lot of the covers that we showed before, and YouTube viewers will be able to see the gallery of those. A lot of those were acrylics. And in talking to a lot of the Patreons and a lot of the fans that we've been talking to this week, I know one particularly said that, you know, every time he would go to a newsagent and he saw that it was an acrylic cover, his heart would just leap. He got excited about, you know, seeing that the Frew cover was an acrylic cover. So I know a lot of, and I know it did for me as well. I know a lot of fans really enjoyed, you know, your work in acrylics.
Yes, I think that it is because there is, how can I put it, a work of like an artisan. Artisan is okay?
Yeah.
Is that a word?
Yeah. Yes.
Like a labor of you putting one brick after the other yourself, and correcting and changing, and the whole thing creates the cover. And I think that is reflected when you see it on the magazine printed.
Awesome.
And some have printed quite well, like this one of the business here. This one, they got the color on the back a little bit too strong, and they added the mistake, in my view anyway, of making the logo also red.
Yeah, the background.
It could have been white, or could have been gray or whatever, but the colors of the Phantom, the lady and the guy are great.
Yeah.
The printing. I was in a shopping center in Fairfield here, and I asked the guy where were the mushrooms, and he said, he showed me, and I said, put them in your hand, and I took a picture.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then I put the guy with the mushroom in his hand, because nothing surpasses references.
Yeah.
Even if you have to draw a phone, a mobile phone, if you have the phone with you, it's better than imagining it.
So that was the cover for Evil Schemes. I missed the
yes
number.
The is 1752.
1752. So if you've got 1752 Evil Schemes, go and look. Antonio hit up a guy in the fresh food section to get a reference for the mushrooms.
Yes, and he looked at me, didn't say anything, at least not in front of me.
But I thought, who's this guy?
Just you mentioned the logo, Antonio, there, and in this case, the colours, the logo was red against your red background. Do you sort of, after having done so many covers for Frew, sort of instinctively leave that space for the logo at the top?
Yes, I do, because I try to leave the less space possible on top, that they put just the title and the logo, and that's it. And because I want the cover to be the one that sells the magazine.
Yeah.
But you have to take it into account, because if not, they will cut parts of it, because the logo has to be there.
Yeah.
Well, I must say that was probably one of the reasons why the in the Bushfire book, and just to give that another plug, that the blurb worked so well, is because there was the space at the top where we could put that, and it didn't detract.
Yes, that was like a cover, is it?
Because, it was, very much.
Yeah. That's what I got. I got that impression straight away as well. It's like, this is definitely from someone who's done, 175.
Knows what they're doing.
Not 200 covers. Yeah, someone who knows what they're doing. Exactly. So I also believe we were just talking. So you've talked about how you've gone and seen Eduardo and Cesar Spadari. I've also heard that you've gone and visited Felmang in Italy as well. Is that correct?
Yes, I went to Rome. And he lives in Cenicetta, the place where the movies are done. And it was great. I got the pictures there on that wall. And I remember asking him once, after he talked like an Italian forever, when you have to do the dog, that I find it so difficult, what do? You take pictures, or you have pictures from the computer? What is that you do? And he said, I copy Barry. So easy. No, I don't have any problem. I copy Barry, he said. Yeah. But he was a great guy. And we exchange emails quite often.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy Felmang as well. I really enjoy his work, what he's done over the decades as well, and he's very easy to talk to, and always willing to like talk about fandom and stuff like that as well. So I've heard stories and I've seen photos that his studio is quite interesting and quite one to behold to see.
Yes, there are. The thing is, he's not like me. Everything that I have here on the walls is mine.
Yeah.
Right. In the case of Felmang, he has a lot of work from others, I suppose for inspiration or reference or whatever, or because they just like him. And he has his as well. But he had plenty of work from other artists.
Yeah.
But his is very nice, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, before we were talking about you, when you said you wrote to Jim Shepard about the need to get other artists and stuff like that. Now, another fandom artist who we know who has also done a piece in the Bushfire book, Camillo di
Antonio.
Yeah, that's the one. Now, I believe that that you've been a bit of a mentor to him as well.
Well, maybe to say that I was a mentor is an exaggeration, but I did pointed him to Glenn, and I spoke with Glenn beforehand to show him that it wasn't impossible, and his work was great, but he had to give the step forward, and he had to talk to the guy, and he did, and he published one that I remember that it was a back cover, and then he continued doing other things. But yes, he's a very talented guy, and he approached me because he was working in
Bunnings
here in Auburn, in New South Wales, and I went there to buy something or to steal something.
and Did he recognize you as you were walking down the aisles looking for whatever to steal?
Incredible, yes. And he said, Antonio. And I said, this guy is from Silverwater Jail. But no, it wasn't.
Yeah, he's told me the story about how he recognized you walking into the store that he was working at Bunnings, and he approached you.
But it's funny because I was without my makeup. I don't know how he recognized me.
And then I also believe there was a poster that you did that he colored for you, I believe.
Yes. It was a sort of, how can I put it, a test to see how it worked, what I did. I didn't like the end result, not because of him. The composition and I didn't like it somewhere there. But I had a couple of things done digitally, like the guy, the cobblestones in the place where the Phantom is going to capture the guy who used to kill prostitutes in the...
Oh, that's your gaslight fault.
Exactly.
The jam.
That little part is done digitally because it has to be done very suave. And David did it and did it very well.
Okay.
Have you ever tried drawing digitally, Antonio?
No. I don't know how to manage a mobile phone. No, it's true. I don't know. And I saw in the internet, in Facebook actually, people selling courses of Facebook, Photoshop, but I don't need it. The only thing I do is enlarge and diminish images. That's the only thing I know.
I love that, to be honest.
I came too late to all those things.
Yeah.
No,
I prefer the old school method because
I do.
And Dan's got some original artwork, and I've got original artwork, and all the people that we talked to, the Patreons that we mentioned before, they've all got covers and pieces from you as well, Antonio, or sketch covers and stuff like that. So there's fans out there that prefer the old school method because then they can...
I bless them because that is the way that I do things. I actually, when I see art, I tend to gravitate toward those in which the guy has sweat doing it.
Yeah.
Not just coloring with Photoshop. That I don't say is less or anything, but it's the style that I like. The trace of the hand doing strokes.
I very much hope that it doesn't become a lost art, because I agree with you. The talent that it takes to be able to produce art on Photoshop or whatever the digital is no less than the traditional artists, but there's just something to...
Doesn't have that magic.
The hard copy, something on a bit of paper or cardboard or whatever it might be, that is just it's tangible, and you've got the only copy and those sorts of things. So I hope I really do hope that it's a skill that's not lost to the art community as we go forward.
I think I am the last one in the planet that is doing it. But I always think the problem with these people whose work looks so neat and clean and exciting is that they don't have a paper with it. They have an image on the screen, and if they want to sell it, they will have to make a print of it. Yeah. But there is no original like I have. So in a way, it compensates for my, how can I say, stubbornness to continue on this path.
So I guess while we're talking about that, you are available for commissions. People can come to you and request a commission.
Oh yes, and if they provide whatever ideas they have in their heads, fantastic. But because you see, if I go or try to accompany what you have in your head in regard to an image, like you said, somebody on the water or somebody doing blah, 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 is an idea. But if somebody says to you, do whatever you like, it's too much, you see? It's like when you go to a parking space and there is only 2 cars there and you don't know where to park because there is so much space.
You sound like my father-in-law.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, when you have too many options, you
Yes.
don't know what to do. And also coming back to the continuity work that Germain was talking, the deadlines are awfully pressure in yourself.
Yeah.
You don't sleep well thinking that so many panels have to be resolved and drawn. No, I don't want that. I prefer to kill myself in one cover, right, than to draw 38 pages.
Yeah, definitely. So I guess so if people are interested in getting commissions, they can contact you via your website, and then there's your email address as well, and then they can contact you that way.
Yes, please, because that is the best way. But once again, when I have 2 or 3 commissions on top of the table, plus my life to live, and there is not much of it, I take me longer.
Yeah, of course.
So just to clarify, what was the web address and the email that fans should hit up, Antonio?
The email address is antoniolemos27@gmail.com, and all lower cases. There you find me everywhere. And in the website is theartofantonio.com.
Yes.
Very simple.
Thank you.
We'll have those links up on if you go to our website where the YouTube video and also the audio will be as well. So we'll have we'll have the links there as well.
One day I received a call from someone who wanted to film the book that I did for the Aborigines.
The Wisdom of the Phantom, yep.
The Wisdom of the Phantom. And he came, he did all the filming, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking to him out of camera. And he said, why don't you appear on the screen? And I said, no, I don't even know how to talk properly. No, come on, sit there. And I said a few words. And it was Nicola Scott. And me.
Really?
Yes, and me, not together, but she was in another part of the DVD. And he said when he was going out, now you are going to be famous. And I said, yes. And then he went and forgot something and come back and knocked. And I said, who is it? And he said, Spielberg. Instant stardom. Yeah, we took a picture of him and his cameraman, and he was so kind that he said, Antonio, don't worry, if you miss the screening on the ABC, I'll send you the DVD by mail. Yeah, and he did.
Cool. We might have to try and hunt that one down, Dan.
Yeah.
We'll have to try and hunt down a copy of that so we can include it on the Phantom Preservation
Definitely.
Project.
That's what I was thinking.
I told Nicola when she was there, were you there in the dinner that she was there?
Yes.
And I said, hello, you remember me?
We shared a documentary.
No, I didn't say anything. And she said, the face looks familiar. And I said, I was in one of the Indiana Jones films. Because she was. She says, really? And I said, no. But we did share DVD that the ABC did. Right. That's it. That's the story about
your stardom.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've really enjoyed talking to you, Antonio. Just getting to know a bit about yourself. Looking at your studio, which we can see on YouTube, with all the photos and the covers, and some of the stories behind the covers and stuff like that. So I don't have any more questions. Dan, do you have any more questions?
I have one. You
Okay.
remember the cover? Recent, must have been 3 or 4 months ago, or more, in which the Phantom is being attacked by a tiger.
Yes.
What did you think about the position of the hands?
It almost looks like he was holding something.
Yes.
A spear.
Maybe.
No, maybe I drew it. And then Dudley told me, no, Antonio, we cannot put that one. And I said, but that scene appears on the episode inside. Well, but not in the cover. But let me try to doctor the cover. And he went and erased the spear, and the Phantom is being attacked by a 300 kilo tiger, and he's more or less sort of saying, what are you doing? It's obvious that he had a spear there on his hand.
No, look, we're showing the cover on YouTube at the moment. It's issue number 1860, The City of Horror. And no, it completely looks like the Phantom's just about to punch the tiger in the face. He doesn't need a spear. What are you talking about, Antonio?
So how does it make you feel when you draw something? And you've told us about how long it takes for you to do a cover, and the care this is with acrylics and stuff like that, and then something you draw has to be disappeared. Is that how does it make you feel? Is this the first time that Frew has?
Well, that I remember, yes, this is the first time. But also, what frustrated me is that it makes no sense. The story was done in 1950 or 60, right?
Yeah.
The story inside the magazine, and on that story, he kills the tiger because the tiger jump on him. Even in modern times, if he was not there hunting the tiger, he was defending himself. No. Hearst Corporation doesn't allow the Phantom to kill tigers. How would I know? Did they do some sort of message saying that please don't kill species that are in danger of disappearing? No, I don't know.
So I guess I'm assuming this is going to be a question that a lot of people that are going to be listening to this is the original still available for sale, and do you have it handy to be able to show us what it actually looked like?
I think you will have to say that again slowly.
Okay, sorry. I was just wondering, is the
Don't forget that I wasn't born here.
Sorry, is the original still? Do you still have the original, and do you have like a picture of what the of what it looked like with the spear?
Yes, I do. No, I don't have the original. It was sold to somebody, but I do have photocopies of it that I can even email it to you.
Okay, cool.
And you will see that even the way the colors came out on the print, they are not faithful to the original one. They are too strident. Is that the way?
Mm.
When it looks like a bang, too yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hope, because that is the most recent cover that you have published. So I'm very much hoping that you get another one, and far beyond 200, as I said before. So this isn't the last Antonio Lemos cover.
Well, I already did one for a supernova called Generations, but it was for this supernova that it wasn't going to be. It's going to be for the next one. And I spoke to Glenn today, and apparently there is something in the horizon. But again, as far as I have something to paint, whether it is a commission or a cover, I am happy. I am okay.
That's good.
Can I just finish with one question, Antonio? We've talked so much about your process and the way you approach your art and all the rest of it. Can I just ask a question about the character, the Phantom? What do you like? So much of your life, the last 40 years of your life, has been devoted to producing depictions of this character, the Phantom. What do you like so much about the Phantom? What appeals to you about the character?
You know, it reminds me of the boxer who had in the back of his jacket the name The Real Deal. I think it was, I don't remember the name now, but that is what the Phantom is to me. The guy is true. He is not someone that will say something today and will forget it tomorrow or whatever. The Phantom is a good guy. He's moral, he's strong, he speaks the truth, and he has someone, the almost, the guy from whom he sometimes asks for advice. I mean, he doesn't consider himself, I know everything, I don't need to ask any old tribe man anything. No, he goes and talks to him. Even Guran sometimes advise him about things to do, or about people of the jungle that the Phantom was not familiar with, and Guran had been accompanying his father before, and he knows. So the Phantom had many admirable qualities, and that one in the fire is a typical one. He first looked for someone to help and rescue from that horror, and took the girl, and then saw the log coming towards the firefighter and tried to stop it, right? And spoke to him about, I don't know, get out of the way or something like that. And that was the Phantom does. He is very brave and very just and very straight.
Yeah, definitely. So the boxer was Evander Holyfield.
Yes, Evander Holyfield. And when I said the real deal, because that is what he is. He's a good guy.
Yeah. Oh, it's very good. So, is there any questions that you wish we had asked, or anything that you feel like we've missed, Antonio?
Yeah, no, I would like to have the opportunity to actually listen to this again without me talking. Just you. So what do I do?
We'll just, so we'll send you a link, and
please.
And then you'll be able to either watch it or listen to it as well.
Right, it's going to be available by the end of the month, maybe?
Yeah, probably about then. I'm not 100% sure the exact date, but yeah, it'll probably be around the end of the month.
But once again, and I'm sorry to repeat this, thank you for inviting me. I am the one that is honored to have people like yourself taking the time to talk to me and to remind me of people like Eduardo. And by the way, what did you say about the Eduardo in color, the book?
All I said was that I had a black and white copy and that you had a color copy. So
if I have another one, I will send it to you.
Oh,
okay. I will look into my library there, And if I have another one, I will send it to you.
It's just such a fabulous tribute to Eduardo, and it goes to show how much you admired him. And
Yes.
I've so loved hearing your stories about him, about Jim Shepherd, about all of your journey. So thank you so much. I can't imagine anyone being anything but honoured to have been in your presence over the last couple of hours, and I hope that our podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers have appreciated that, because you've been so generous with your time, so generous with your stories. So thank you very much, Antonio, and thank you for all of your time and everything that you've done over the last 4 decades.
Oh, no, thank you. And thank you to the fans that are always there supporting us and following what we do. And watch for this one tomorrow in Facebook. That is my last. I remember the Indian. Can I say a joke?
Yes, of course.
It's a bad one, but it's about a young guy who went to university, an Indian, and stayed away from the tribe for, I don't know, 2 years. And when he came back, he was outside his teepee watching the smoke signals and saying to another Indian, I don't understand this. I have been away from this place for only 2 years, and I don't understand the smoke signals that I grew up with. What is happening? And he said, no, don't worry. Changes are different. The first 10 minutes of the beginning of the message are commercials. I'm sorry. I had to say it.
That's great.
So no, thank you for that, Antonio. I really appreciate your time tonight.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Antonio, for joining us. Dan, that was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Oh, that was so much fun. As I sort of said at the start, I can't believe we left it so long to interview Antonio, and that was one of the more enjoyable podcast chats. They're all good, but that was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I think that's the key word, is fun, with a PH, of course.
Of course, but just Antonio's just got such a left field sense of humour, and some of the things he said just cracked me up, and to get some insight into Eduardo Barreto was fantastic, but also Jim Shepherd for me. That's sort of a peek behind the curtain of Frew in that 30-year era that Jim Shepherd was in charge. It was just, and I expect nothing less from Antonio, to be honest, in terms of just highlighting the positive qualities of the people that he's worked with, because he's such a positive person, and I think that's just the lens through which he sees the world. And it's just been a really enjoyable, probably close to 2 hours, I suppose, but chat with him. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. So I hope everyone else has really enjoyed it. I know we have. We give a big shout out to our Patreons, and especially those who answered the call and gave us some of their favourite covers and stuff like that as well. So huge shout out to our Patreons. If you are interested about Patreons and wanting to know what that's all about, if you go to our website, chroniclechamber.com, you'll be able to see there's some links there for information about becoming a Patreon. Basically, Patreons are people that support us and help us to be able to pay the bills to be able to keep this website going. So our website is chroniclechamber.com. If you want to email us, that's chroniclechamber@gmail.com. And of course, we're all across the social media platforms as well. You need to go to our website, and we've addressed some of those at the beginning as well. So, sorry about that. Thank you, listeners. Thank you, Antonio. Thank you, Dan, for your time. From myself, happy phantoming, and stay safe, everyone.
Happy phantoming.
500 years ago, he washed ashore the sole survivor of a shipwreck. And upon the skull of the man who killed his dad, he said, I'm mad, I must eradicate piracy. injustice and cruelty, and all my sons will follow me, so evildoers will believe that this man cannot die.
The Phantom,
The ghost who walks.
the Phantom,
Enemies beware, the Phantom's always there, but you won't mind the Phantom. He finds you